I would like to first thank Scott Family Farms for having us out here in Jamaica and giving us amazing hospitality, and Community Gardens for bringing us together and inviting us down here and putting this all together. So we'd like also to talk about the Marina Boys and who we are and what we're trying to do. The Marina Boys is a group of growers and legacy that have been together for about at least 20 years. Is probably the youngest member of us, but most of us go back about 30 years. So that's, Ivan the Real Cliff Hayes and Elliot, um, and Benson and Frankie and Ed Piguero and Jeff and Super O and Titans Greenery, Tito, and my boy Sharkbite, who's out at 5 Point Farms out in Oregon. And a special shout out, especially to Blockwork, before I forget, also Waterboy. Some of us are still in the shadows. Some of us are still not comfortable coming out. So we're kind of the face for the group. But let's get to Blockwork.
Yeah. So Blockwork is what we feel is the future of the direction of the Marina Boys. You know, we feel like, he grew up around us. He understands the lifestyle and what it represents. So, now moving on and coming into New York City, we're looking forward to him driving the direction of, our newer genetics and our, how we scale and how we handle our QC in New York. So, we feel he's a big part of the future and is, the next tier to this story, being that his family, his dad was around us, since, to me, probably late teens.
35 years or so.
Yeah, so, we like just to say that this is going to be evolving. You're going to find out so much about us because there's so much history that erupted out of that congregation that we had at La Marina. So we look forward to being able to tell that. And Blockwork is one of the highlights of that story now early on, because it's already a big part of what we're doing today. So yeah.
I love it, second generation relationship. I think that one of the best things I ever experienced was my partner that I sold clones to for decades. He brought me his son one day to the spot and he said, "I'm introducing you to my son." And I laughed. I said, "I've known him since he was born." He goes, "No, today you know him as a client. I'm bringing him to you to do his first purchase for his operation." And it touched me emotionally because it's something about that transcendence from generation to generation. And in our world, we didn't have that permeability, permanency is I think the correct word. It was, a lot of people got taken out. And so the ability for, you would have the relationship with Block's pops and then have Block in the game and he's hot. And so it's just, it's a beautiful story.
And hopefully this is something that my daughters get into. Sure. I never would have thought that years ago. But, now, like with everything changing in New York and the excitement, like I've hidden it from my kids for all these years until, 6 months, 9 months ago. But now I have hopes that, whatever we can build, they could take over, and being around Scott family and seeing him and his daughters and their beautiful relationship and how close they are and get to be able to go to work with your kids and like be a family. That's what I'm the most excited for.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able for it to be a family business, geez, how does that even sound, right?
It's crazy that we're not committing a conspiracy right now.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, yeah, that'd be awesome. To have my daughter involved as well, it would be great. So I guess at the end of the day, right? Right now as we evolve, like anything's possible. Lord knows, maybe one of our girls will pick up under what Blockwork is doing, and and he'll be their mentor, and come up under him and build this for us. But we just know that we're just super excited about all of it, and just every day with the new opportunities that we get, and the response we get from New York City is tremendous. So we truly appreciate that always.
I'd like to give some shout outs to people that, we've come across, and like even though some of the people have only been in our lives 6 months to a year, 2 years, like family. So excuse me for notes. I'm old and it's hard for me to concentrate. But Empress Marina, who's one of the biggest advocates for us, and the Beard Bros, and Nick from Citadel, and Extreme Farming, and Jonathan from Empire, and Kusa Collective, and TH Seeds, and Paris from Pharmacy New York, and so many others, And then I also have a group that I want to mention is where I think the next level of where New York growers, craft farmers, and small batch.
And that's why we advocate. We think the small craft farmer should be the first ones up. That would really be New York. So
super special shout out to Ben, all caps, from the New York Growers Cup. He's brought a lot of us together, and he's the only one in our group of like 30 that's not a grower, but he fights for us more than we fight for ourselves. So I have to give him a shout out. Then you have Dr. Dankenstein, and the Collector, and Joya, and Bushwhacker, and Wiedeson, our boy Piff Coast, and Loyalty, and Epiphany, and Tolsky, and Semperfi, and the list is on, but I just wanted to spread the love and thank them, because their energy has helped me come out and deal with this new world, because I was so nervous. I was walking in rooms and nobody knows who I am. I don't know who anybody is. And all of these people went out their way to make me feel comfortable and supportive. So I have to shout out all those people. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you like to see, in an ideal world, what would you like to see roll out in New York? And what do you think is not being done correctly right now?
What I would like to see is they make it possible for all of the people I named and that have been in the game to be able to get micro licenses, and make it simpler for us, and not so complicated, so we could stay being craft and small and not corporate. And some of us can join together.
That's what New York is all about. To try to eradicate, or maybe eradicate is a tough word, segmentize how this rolls out, instead of New York just be what New York is used to. And what they're used to is their small craft brands that have been working towards this for years. And now to have to compete for limited spots and stuff like that, I can see can be a little aggravating. And as New Yorkers, some of us are quite vocal. So, it becomes a little bit conflictional, and that's not progression.
And last shout out, I forgot about my boy TK.
Oh yeah,
TK, who's like another brother and somebody that's been in our lives short, but love the guy and didn't want to forget him.
Yeah. We were talking. The thing the second part of that question was, what do you see not happen? And I know we were speaking about equity rollout and how you didn't feel that the administration of the licenses were being fairly done. And I noticed that in California as well, where it's more like a buzzword that they use to placate the public versus an actual program that actually creates some opportunity for those that are most impacted. And I'm not familiar with the New York program.
I can't be mad at anybody that's already on the list and getting it. And what I feel is that, even with the amount of years and everything I've been in the game, I belong very far down the list as who deserves it first. I mean, anybody that's done any severe time for growing weed or selling weed, they should be up on the list. I think anybody that's lost family members, my boy Frankie lost 2 brothers, and then his nephews and him are still running the corner on Post. I would like to see those kids get the first chance or be on the top. Who's lost more than them? The kids were with the father when he was killed. So you talk about PTSD, all of us have from being in this. Can you imagine what these kids have? I want to see those types of families and situations be recognized and be given more priority over anybody else. You know, whoever lost the most skin in the game should go first, I feel.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's the fairest proposal. They've just done such a poor rollout in the West Coast as well. And it's frustrating because it's almost like they give you enough to get moving, but not enough to finish, and then the responsibility falls on the individuals. When really an equity program needs to be created that doesn't just open the door, but it also creates a longer lasting support. So what you can do is create a better thriving economy, better integration of the idea.
And I think New York is really trying. I know they're trying to work with people, and I know it's overwhelming. You know, it's so many moving pieces.
It can't be anything less than overwhelming, right?
I get that. But I do think there should be some type of, you know, credit score. Like I applied for the mentorship program, and I didn't qualify. How's that?
What's the mentorship program?
That's something they put in New York that people that are supposed to be legacy have gotten in. And I'm not mad at anybody else that got into the mentorship, but I'm just saying that, you know, what is the criteria? Because I didn't meet it. And, you know, I don't know if too many people that meet it more than me, you know, and not just me. Like, we're corporate already, you know. Joe and Blockwork, they're running a 700 life facility or something like that. They're scaling. We're corporate. Like, if there's any doubts as to whether we can do the transition, we're overqualified. We have everything from legacy to skill sets to stories to branding. So, you know, I just don't see that a clear path is being made for people that should have the opportunity. We could be the test model.
That's true.
You know, the government wants the fund, and it's not just about us. I'll bring the other people in also, but we could help and guide them. You know, we have all the experience.
Yeah. You know, been blessed enough to get into a market where, you know, we understand production, you know, we understand how to build facilities, and most importantly, we understand cannabis in general because we've been in it so long. You know, it gives us an edge, I think, and we are a true New York story at the end of the day. Yeah,
true. And it's been been a good time hanging out with you here in Jamaica. I'm so grateful we got to get together.
Yes.
And I look forward to doing some shit in the future. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank our family, our wives that let us do this. Right?
Yes.
Because I can tell you that shit, almost 8 years ago to the day, I told my wife, well, I'm going to go somewhere in the middle of Washington and I'm going to figure this out and I'll make my way home. And almost 8 years later to the day, here I am doing the same thing in Jamaica. So.
And I've always sheltered my family from it. My family didn't know anything. I never had weed in my house. I smoked for the first time in front of my family this summer. You know, I hid it. But my wife's got damage from everything.
Absolutely.
You know, it's different, you know, but
she had to live it too.
But also they're allowing me to come down here for 5-6 days and take time away from
and not knowing anything, right? Because it's not here's an itinerary, here's whatever. Yeah, we're going and Kevin.
What are you doing? I don't know. I just know I'm going to Jamaica.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna meet some really cool fucking people, hang out, learn some history, smoke some awesome bud, and have a good time. You know, but she's holding down the family. My kids are missing me. I'm not there.
Where are you off to later on today?
We're going to the beach, right?
Yeah, y'all know not to smoke with Kevin. You see, he be holding the joint. Y'all know. I'm just saying, man. Yeah, we're going to go to Ocho Rios.
That's Rios.
Yeah, we're going to Ocho Rios. We're going to go check out a little
And then back home tomorrow. We got to get back on the grind. A lot of work to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother.
Take care, guys.